Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. May Allah Ta'ala accept our deeds that are sincerely for His sake, and may Allah Ta'ala make us people of action and not inaction. Today we are going to talk about the importance and the dire need of taking action. Everyone in this world wants to be somebody else. We are often very busy thinking about other people's lives and their successes. Everybody wants to be somebody else. Either it is a better form of themselves, which they envision in somebody else's successes. They take someone else as a role model, or they simply want to be at a certain place other than where they are right now. But what it takes from going from point A to point B is a lot of action. And this a lot of action is something that is very, very, very hard to take. Am I speaking of something which is baseless? No. If you look at the beginning, the very beginning of the creation of Adam and the story of Adam and Iblis, then we learn that both of them had difficulty following the command, and they both ended up following their own desires. They both ended up not doing what was supposed to be done, and they ended up doing what was not supposed to be done. So I give you this much, I give you the benefit of the default that every human being, by default, will make mistakes. It is true. And that is something that is acceptable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The mistakes that we make, they are completely acceptable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they are by default unintentional, undeliberate, and as long as we keep trying to improve them. So in order to address a problem, we first have to admit in all honesty that yes, there is a problem. And in order to treat a disease, we have to first diagnose and pinpoint what exactly is the disease, and then we can come up with the appropriate solution or the treatment. The contradiction between thought and act is a very paradoxical relationship because the tension arises when there is a disconnect between what a person thinks or believes and how they behave or act. The contradiction appears completely irrational because if you talk to the person, if you talk about their deep psychology and worries, you will find many people who are constantly worrying about change. They want change. But when you ask them a simple set of questions, you will come to the conclusion that the only action they think they're taking is the worry or the thinking. But thinking is not an action. It is actually something that goes on in activity. Irrespective of what we are doing, thoughts are coming and going, just like a stream. So there is a live stream of thoughts going on in our heads. The heart and the brain and the mind, they do not shut down. The brain, the organ systems in the body, the heart, they keep functioning even when we are sleeping. Which is why it is believed that most of the dreams that we have, they also come because of our imaginations and our thought processes. So how do we compare this idea versus reality presentation in our minds, where we are too busy thinking and we believe that we have done something, whereas we have not done anything, not just for a day, but for a good length of number of days and weeks and months on end, and we are just busy planning, and we think that we are doing something or we are going somewhere. Just imagine there is a child who is sitting in a toy car that does not drive, and he is sitting on that car and he is pretending in his pretend playtime that he is driving it. He is making the vroom vroom sounds from his mouth. He's moving the steering wheel. He's pressing on any protruding object in the car, acting as if he's accelerating or pulling the brakes at times. But from your perspective, as an observer, you see that the child is sitting in the same spot for the past 2, 3, 10 hours that he has been involved or indulged or immersed in his play. Similarly, there are people who are so lost in their thought, in their overthinking, in their analysis paralysis, that they keep thinking, and they even might start believing that they are making progress, but they are not. And something which has really messed up the humanity these days is this uncontrolled desire to keep learning. And this has put them in this vicious cycle of never stopping from their micro learning and never actually coming out in the workplace and doing anything practical. So where is this train going to collide? Where are we headed? Where are we going with all this momentum of massive learning and inaction? Let's take a deep dive and see where the problem really is so that we can nip the evil in the bud, as they say. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this desire of constant learning. In fact, a human being is born on fitra, and the fitra is creating this constant desire in a human being to achieve an ideal or an optimum status or stage. This deep desire of achieving an optimum state is innate and is good. It has to be there. It should be there. Everybody should try and improve themselves and their next moment, their life, in even if it is 1 to 10%, they should keep trying to improve from what it was. But here is the problem. The thoughts are filled up with what should be happening, what is ideal, what are the values, what are the intentions. Everything is there. But the actions are missing. Actions include reality of choices we make and our behaviors that we back up our choices with. So the paradox emerges when individuals think one way, but they're acting the opposite way. They wish to achieve an ideal situation, and this leads to so many people, so many platforms, so many conventions, so many marches, walks, so many things, where people are joined together, they join hands, they have the same aims, motives. But there are too many voices speaking about their thoughts. And there is so much inaction. For example, there is a smoker who knows that smoking is harmful, but continues to smoke. There is a person who values honesty, but tells a lie in every difficult situation. There is a person who knows the meaning of eating healthy food and the benefits, but is still obese. So what is happening here? Look at the example of Salah. Salah is such an important and integral aspect of human life. Are people not aware that missing Salah is going to make Allah angry? Are people not aware that there are huge benefits of performing Salah? Are people not aware that Allah has promised so much reward for performing Salah? Are people not aware that the Prophet ﷺ used to consider Salah the coolness of his eyes? There are so many things related to Salah. Even Prophet Jesus, Hazrat Isa, was commanded to perform Salah. It is such a huge thing It was gifted to humanity, it was gifted to the Muslims on the Mi'raj journey. Look at the importance. It's a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the height of nearness a human being can achieve towards Allah ta'ala through the salah. Look at how the benefit of praying in sujood is mentioned and repeated in the hadith. Look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has even mentioned the benefits of tahajjud. Look at the benefits of dua haja, salatul haja, salatul istikhara. Look at the benefits of even seeking help through patience and prayer. That is salah. People know the importance of salah, and yet there are so many people who just miss it just like that. No reason. No reason at all. They will just miss the salah or delay the salah or not do it in the masjid for any small, tiny little reason. Where is the human mind going wrong? Where is the human mind playing tricks on the human? Why is there such a huge gap between our knowledge and our action? These are the basics. These are the basics. So many people don't even brush their teeth. I have seen adults working in big stores, and this was in a Muslim country. Big stores, big European brand stores. And there was a salesperson with yellow teeth. And I was like, subhanallah, and where are we headed? Why don't we just act on the smallest little bit of knowledge that we have? The problem is there are so many streams of knowledge available right now. I'm not here to discourage anyone from taking those classes or those lectures or those courses. But why don't we sharpen the tools that lead us to act? Why don't we focus on the journey? Why don't we focus on the tools that will take us to the journey? Why don't we get started on the journey? And learn along the journey. Learn as we go. Not sit down and learn. That is what I want to highlight today. We don't have to sit and learn. We have to walk and drive and travel as we learn. Unfortunately, we are living in a pandemic of idol worshippers. The IDLE worshippers, not the IDOL. IDOL is something that will be addressed in another talk. But today we are going to talk about the IDLE, idol worshippers. Allah Ta'ala tells us in Surah Baqarah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, this is the book, undoubtedly in it is guidance for those who are conscious of Allah and those who believe in the unseen and those who establish prayer and spend out of what has been provided to them. We learn from this that belief in the unseen is such an important and integral part of our belief. The book is a guidance, a form of guidance to those. Undoubtedly, it is guidance for those who are conscious of Allah and who believe in the unseen. Have we ever stopped here, paused, and thought about what is the belief in the unseen? The belief in the unseen is the result of our actions, is the result of our deeds. Belief in the unseen is also the grand prize that we will get after we leave this dunya. But the belief in the unseen is happening all the time. It is happening even right now. As I speak, I do not know what's going to happen in my next moment. Once the Prophet ﷺ was sitting in the masjid and he asked the Sahaba Ikram about whom amongst them was the one who remembered death the most. And one of the Sahabi responded that he remembered death so much that when he performed one salah, he thought that perhaps he will not get a chance to perform the next one. And to this the Prophet ﷺ responded that when he does one salam of the salah, he does not even know that he will get a chance to perform the second salam. This is something which we have to take a pause and ponder over. Do we know what the next moment is bringing? Time is a carrier of both good and bad, and time is a carrier of the unseen. It reveals what's next. Nobody knows what is going to happen tomorrow. Only Allah knows. We don't know the outcome. We don't even know how long we have to act upon the thoughts that we are having. So this improves taqwa. This is one of the solutions. Remembering death, remembering the deadline, which could be any time. The time would be up any time. Thinking about it does not let a person stay lazy. What is laziness? Problem is, today we have started to give a chocolate coating to everything, and we have started misdefining and misunderstanding some terms that are very misleading. For example, one of the terms is the comfort zone. People have started taking laziness as comfort zone. People have started taking, this becomes like a comfort teddy bear or a comfort squishmallow or something like a cuddly, soft kind of a toy. It doesn't give a feeling of an evil, so one doesn't avoid it. So when you keep thinking, this is my comfort zone, this is my comfort zone, this is my comfort zone, which could actually be your laziness, you are just depriving yourself of the great things that you could have achieved, and you are being an ally of your own destruction. So how do we understand where and how these terms are misleading? And for that, we need to be God conscious. That is why in this ayah that we read just a few moments ago, God consciousness was mentioned first.